battery. It's just a battery. No need to mess with the system. All right, perfect. Thank you, Alan. No, we don't have to start all over. Oi, can you imagine? Okay. Why don't we gather our tzitzit as we prepare for the Shema, and we turn to page 244 at the top of the page. 240. Let's try 240. 240 works. Thank you, Eileen. Takes a village. Takes a village. Okay. V'avienu l'shalom Shimcha HaGadol Tzala V'emet V'hodo Lecha Oyachecha Mi'achava Baruch Atah Adonai Avocher Yamo Yisrael Mi'ahava בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך ושיננת לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם להיות על ידך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Continue quietly, 244. Together now, 246, Vayomer. Vayomer Adonai, Moshe lemor, daber el bnei Yisrael, v'amarta alehem, v'asu lahem tzitzit, akafei miktehem l'dorotam, v'natenu al tzitzit. הכנף אצל תחלת והיה לכם לציצית וראיתם אותו וזכרתם בכל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם אשר אתם שונאים אחריהם למען תזכרו ועשיתם מכל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם, אמת. לדור ודור הוא קיים, הוא שמו קיים, וחיסון נכון ומלכותו, ואמונתו לעד קיימת. אמת שאתה הוא אדוני אלוהינו, ואלוהי אבותינו, מלכנו מלך אבותינו, גואלנו גואל אבותינו, יוצרנו צור ישועתנו, פורנו ומצילנו מעולם שמך, אין אלוהים זולתך. 250. אשרי איש אישה שישמע למצוותיך, ותורתך ודבריך ישימה ליבם, ואתה הוא אדוני עמך. Top of page 252. Tehillah Le'Elayon Baruch Uvorach Moshe Bnei Yisrael Lechanu Shira Besimcha Rabba V'yamru Chulam Mi Chamocha Bailim Adonai Mi Chamocha Netar BaKodesh Norah Diloto Sefele Sefele Norah Diloto Sefele Sefele Shira Chadasha Shebechu Geolim Eshimcha Sefatayam Yachakol Avot Ve'im Lechu V'yamru Adonai Imloch Le'olam Va'ed Tzor Yisrael Kuba B'Yisrat Yisrael Oftech Nomecha Yehuda V'Yisrael Go Aleinu Adonai Tzebaot Shemot Kadosh Yisrael Baruch Ata Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Join together in our voices 255 for the Shacharit Amidah. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora El Elyon HaKovil Chasadi Tovim V'koneh HaKol V'zocher Chasdei Avo v'Imahot U'mevii Geula Livnei B'neihem Le'ma'an Shemo B'Yahava Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen Baruch Ata Adonai Magen Avraham Yezrat Sarah Ata Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayem Eti Matarav Le'Oshia Ma Shifa Ruach U'Moreda Gashem Mechalkei Chai B'Chesed Mechayei Metim Berachamim Rabim Tzomech Nofelim Verofeh Cholim U'Motir Asurim U'Mekayem Emunato V'Shenei Afar Nichamocha B'Kevodot U'Mito Beloch Melech Memi U'Mechayeh U'Matzmiach Yeshua V'Ne'eman Atah Le'Achayo Metim Baruch Atah Adonai Mechayeh Ametim 256 Kedusha Nekadesh Eshicha Ba'olam Keshem Shemakdishim Oto Bishmei Madom Gadol Al Yad Aviyecha Hekara Zeh Ve'amar Kadosh 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 Adonai Tzevaot Meloch al haaretz kevodo Az bekorash gadol Adir v'chazak Mahashmin kol B'naseim Le'yom ha'terafim Le'yom ha'tam Baruch Yomeru Baruch Kevod Adonai Mimekom Chamakenu Tofia V'timloch Aleinu Kimechakim Anachnu Lach Matai Timloch Metzion V'karov beyameinu le'olam va'et tishkon v'tikadash v'toch Yerushalayim yircha le'tor v'ador ol netzach netzachim v'neinu tirena malchutecha kadavar hamor v'shirei uzecha ayetei David Mashiach tzikecha Yimloch Adonai le'olam Elohai Zion Le'tor v'ador Hallelujah Le'tor v'ador Le'tor v'ador Le'tor v'ador Naki God lecha Le'tor v'ador Le'tor v'ador Le'tor v'ador Naki God lecha Netzachim Kedushatecha nakdish Kedushatecha nakdish V'shivchacha Eloheinu Mipinu lo yamush le'olam va'ed Le'dor v'ador Le'dor v'ador Le'dor v'ador nagi God lecha Le'dor v'ador Le'dor v'ador Le'tor v'ador nagi God lecha Ki hamelech gadol gadol v'kadosh gadol v'kadosh ata Ki hamelech gadol gadol v'kadosh gadol v'kadosh ata Baruch Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. Continue quietly in the Midah 258 through 266. Kili Sarayel Machanita Tobia Hava. Adonai tzuri vegoali. Adonai tzuri vegoali. My God, my rock, and my redeemer. Iyul ratzon imrechi. Ose shalom bimromam, oya ase shalom aleinu, ve'yakol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ose shalom bimromam, oya ase shalom aleinu, ve'yakol Yisrael ve'imru amen. 268, Kaddish Shalem. ויתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועמד יברך ירותיו ימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון, ובחייך בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך, ועולם עולמי ימיה. יתברך וישתבח ויפר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי לקודשה ברכו לעילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה דאמירן ויאמר ויאמרו אמן. תתקבל סלוחון ובאותכון דכל ישראל קודם ואבוכוני וישמיה ויאמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו או יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו amen. Continue in our service, the Torah service specifically, page 300 and אין כמוך ואלוהים אדוני ואין כמעשיך ומלכותך מלכות כל עולמים וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן, אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום. אב הרחמים היטיב ברצוך את ציון, תבנה חומות ירושלים, תבנה חומות ירושלים. כי בכל לבב בטחנו מלך רב ונישא אדון עולם.
Israel.
בשמיים ובארץ, כי הו בשמיים ובארץ, לך אדוני אברהם, ימין עשה וכובש, רוממו אדוני אלוהינו, ונשתחוו להג'ום So as we are preparing our Torah to be read this morning, I'd like to invite Shep Smithline, who will be delivering our Devar Torah this morning. Shep, please.
Get my goodies out. How the rabbi does it, you know. There we go. Well, maybe not. Okay. Okay, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. So the rabbi, I see Eileen already. I haven't started yet. You're already smiling. It's a good sign. Okay. So today I'm going to get the Devar Torah. And as Jan pointed out, maybe I should, if you can't hear me, just, am I good? Okay. So as Jan pointed out, today's Parsha is filled with lots of material that you could spin a great Devar Torah on. Aaron's staff becomes a snake. 70%, maybe not 100%, 70% of the plagues are there. There are ethical dilemmas about, God tells Pharaoh, how can we hold Pharaoh accountable if God hardened his lips, all sorts of things. I'm not going to talk about any of that, as interesting and intriguing as they may be. Instead, I'm going to talk about something that actually my son and I have been talking about over the past few weeks. He's in graduate school studying a combination of philosophy, art history, and physics, really. And in some kind of cosmic coincidence, it actually mirrors a lot of the things that Arlene spoke about last week. And so I'm not too disappointed. I'm a little disappointed, I suppose, that she's not here. But anyway, I could always email her the Devar. Okay, so what am I going to talk about today? So I'm going to talk about, so my son, he's in grad school, as I mentioned, and he's been working on this whole series of interlocking papers on Erwin Panofsky. And Panofsky was a famous, influential art historian who was a professor in Hamburg, Germany between 1920 and 1933. Oh, thank you. And now I can't move. Okay. And then he ultimately, and as I'll go on and explain, he left Germany, became a professor at the Institute of Advanced Studies, up north of us, off of Route 1. So Panofsky is, he's well known as a professor I had in grad school used to say. He's well known to those who know him well, which means maybe not so well known to us. So, but he's famous for a particular way of analyzing art. And so, let me have to get this right here. So when he looks at it, when he said, when we look at a painting, we can analyze it at 3 levels. So for example, suppose I'll pick a painting at random. Suppose we had the painting of the burning bush that Arlene spoke about last week. So you would look at the painting and see, oh, the bush is, there's the immediate meaning. Oh, you see what the symbols mean. You see a bush, it's burning, the bush isn't being consumed. The next level is sort of a cultural level of understanding. So someone from an American Jewish person, or at least someone from our synagogue, would look at the painting and realize, oh, that's not just any bush that's burning, that's the bush from Shmot that's burning. And then the third level is the deeper meaning, which is really, in Panofsky's view, the work of the art historian, or maybe in the case of the burning bush, it's also the work of the rabbi. where you look at the painting not in isolation, but as a part of a series of paintings produced by the culture, and you ask the most deep questions and pull the various understandings from the first two layers together. So that's what he's famous for. But when he began at Hamburg, he was very much focused, he was at the beginning of his career, he was very much focused on putting the whole field of art history on a firm foundation. And then to do this, he drew upon the work of another professor who was at Hamburg at the time, Ernst Cassirer. He is what they call a neo-Kantian philosopher. You don't have to worry what that really means, just know that it has something to do with Kant. And the reason why, so he was drawing on his work, and meanwhile, Cassirer had his own problems, in effect, because he was thinking very hard about Kant, and Kant wrote a lot about space and time, and tried to connect that to Newton's laws of motion. And of course, at this time, in the early 20s, Einstein had developed over really a period beginning when he was 16, up through 1915, the theory of relativity. And again, you don't have to worry about what it all means, but trust me, he turned the ideas of space and time on its head. And so Cassirer was busy pondering how to incorporate Einstein's ideas now in Kantian philosophy. Okay, so then the third person, oh, and you might, okay. So the third person who we talked about is another art historian. His name is Abi Warburg. So he's an art historian like Cassirer. He grew up, if I forgot, Cassirer and Panofsky are both Jewish. Maybe I forgot them. Maybe it's implied, but I will get to that. So Warburg was also Jewish. He was born, we don't have any water, anyway. No. So he was born to a very wealthy Jewish German banking family. And he was the oldest son of 7. They wanted him, of course, to follow the family business, but he would have none of it. In fact, his grandmother said, well, if you don't do that, I'm not joking, could you at least become a doctor or a lawyer? But no, he didn't want to do any of those things. He wanted to study art history, and he actually made a deal with his family. He said, okay, if I will give up all rights to the business, family business, if you provide me with all the books I will require for my studies. And they said, sure, why not knowing what they were getting into. But those books became the foundation of the Warburg Institute, which was at Hamburg. And that's really the place where Cassirer and Panofsky were working out of. So, as I read more about the three of them, I realized that they embrace their Jewish culture as a way to express their Judaism. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's for the rabbi. Okay. More than water here, by the way. Okay, so as I was saying, they were using German culture to express their Judaism, and actually that was quite different from many Jews in Germany at the time, particularly those in Berlin, who were doing the opposite. They were using German culture to escape their Jewish identity. And so I wondered, what was it that made them different? Was it something about their upbringing, the city of Hamburg? And as we'll see, it's a little combination of both. Oh, I forgot the show and tell here. I'll just pass. Well, oh yeah, you're right, there's a lip here. You're right. Okay. So I have it's an art talk, so I can't, I have to give out some pictures. And unfortunately, my printer mangled things a bit. But here I have a picture of the famous Warburg Library. I'll just have a little image in your mind. Have a few more something. Anyway, all right. So first we'll talk, so that's the Warburg Library, and it's not evident from the picture, but War, Hamburg was a place that was really, the intellectual life was characterized by lots of innovation and interdisciplinary study, and a lot of that is a product of Warburg's eccentric library. Uh, Panofsky referred to himself, to Seer Warburg, as part of the Hamburg School. And like I said, the library was an amazing vehicle which allowed them to explore philosophy, art, in all its multifaceted forms. I mean, I talked a little bit how Panofsky was relying upon Cassirer was relying upon Einstein, but actually Panofsky himself in later writings also thought about the theory of relativity, and in fact, when he ultimately went off to Princeton, he became friends with Einstein. His kids apparently drove Einstein around Princeton. You don't want Einstein behind the wheel of a car. And his two kids, whom he referred to as his two little plumbers, became physicists themselves. The second one, not as famous as Einstein, but genuinely renowned physicist. Okay. The second thing about Hamburg had to do with the politics of the city. So it was an anti-establishment, cosmopolitan, liberal, or in a word you might say Jewish, society. While much of Germany at that time was turning to anti-humanism, mysticism, and of course nationalism, Panofsky's wife referred to Hamburg as this oasis. Although it's true it was an oasis, it wasn't completely immune from what was going on in Germany at the time. In the early 20s, I think it was 1921, Germany had a foreign minister who was Jewish. His name was Walter Rathenau, and he was assassinated. And now historians look back in time and realize that was the point when it was inevitable that German democracy would fail. But at the time, it wasn't clear. In Hamburg, this sparked people organized a day of mourning. Hundreds of thousands of people went on a hunger strike. So even though, yes, nationalism and things like that were creeping up in other parts of Germany, in Hamburg, it was a little bit somewhat immune, but not completely. There also were other anti-Semitic incidents later in the 20s, and again, the city organized various protests. Okay, but clearly so part of it was the city of Hamburg. The second thing you might say has to do with a certain agility, a moving between the Jewish world and the German world. So Panofsky's in-laws were a very successful old Jewish family. They maintained their Jewish identity and customs, and they moved freely between the Jewish world and the German world. And Panofsky was sort of similar. He knew Hebrew, Latin, and Greek. He wrote to his wife in Yiddish. And he and Cassirer were both members of the B'nai B'rith organization in Hamburg. And in fact, Panofsky gave a talk in Berlin at what they called the Berlin Center for the Science of Judaism. I sort of think about it as the Berlin Jewish Center without the basketball courts, perhaps. And so he talked about Rembrandt. Rembrandt, naturally, as an art historian. So Rembrandt had befriended a number of Sephardic Jews, and in Panofsky's view, certainly by the end, was really captured portrayed Jews as individuals, which was somewhat unique for that time, and it captured the essence of what it meant to be Jewish. And so here I have another set of, so this picture I'm passing out is a reproduction of a painting of Rembrandt's called Portrait of a Young Jew. So in the talk, Panofsky actually even went further than just saying, that Rembrandt had captured the essence of Judaism. He declared, I want to get this quote right. He said that the greatest German painter, Rembrandt, portrayed the world as the greatest Jewish philosopher conceived. What does that mean, and who is he referring to? So the greatest Jewish philosopher was Spinoza. That's who he's referring to. And what he was trying to get at, and it's not obvious from the painting, and I'm sure if Panofsky were here, he'd see you should never rely upon reproductions. It's a whole other story. But anyway, so when an artist paints a realistic painting, it's supposed to represent exactly what you're seeing. So when you look at the painting, you automatically transcend the world of the painting, the world of the museum that you're looking at, to the world that's being depicted in the painting. But the way, according to my son, the way that Rembrandt painted, he used very thick brushstrokes, so that when you looked at the paint, the brushstrokes, in some sense, got in the way of this transcendence to the world depicted by the painting. And so what was Spinoza's philosophy about? He was what was called a pantheist. He didn't believe in a transcendent God, but a God of nature that was immanent in the world around you. So you couldn't transcend the world to this, the world around us to a transcendental God, the way that Rembrandt's painting kind of did the same with the painting. So his talk was a big success. He of course, was the Jewish community all over Germany was proud of Panofsky and the work he was doing. Kassir was a kind of hero. Yeah, but one of the things that were interesting about both Kassir and Panofsky, they had their wives used to always remind them, what you say is important, but to whom you're saying it is almost even more important. And so I think, Panofsky, sensing that maybe he had overstepped some lines there, he did not want to, he never published his work about his talk that he gave at the Berlin Jewish Center, and was sensing that, maybe he's gone too far, a little bit too far. And ultimately, it was published after he passed away. There's a German version, and that's actually the version I had my son skim through. Okay. So he just took the speech, put it in the drawer, and it wasn't touched until after he passed away. Okay. I haven't talked too much about Warburg. So in the late 20s, Kassir, actually, I think Kassir had an offer from Harvard he turned down, but then he got an offer from another university in Germany, and it looked like he was going to leave. Warburg became frantic. He looked upon Kassir as Hamburg's lifeline to German intellectual life. He didn't want to see him go. He published an article in the newspaper, and he worked tirelessly and successfully to ultimately keep Kassir for a little while. But what's interesting is that in his diaries, he also recorded his thoughts about the situation, and what he realized is that if Kassir left, Kassir would take his prize students, and maybe even Panofsky, and in his words, the torch of the German Jewish spirit there'd be no one left to carry on the torch of the German Jewish spirit. And this is the sort of thing, again, that Warburg would only talk about in mixed company. He's not going to, it's Germany after all. It's not entirely clear what he meant by the torch of the German Jewish spirit, because after all, most of the intellectuals who were working at the Warburg Institute were Jewish, but they did work on non-Jewish topics. So it's probably the case that in Warburg's mind, Hamburg was like a middle ground. So in Germany, you had, for example, Frankfurt University. That was known as the Jewish university, or even the Jew university. That's the place where all the early debates about Zionism took place. And it's also where all German Jewish scholarship was taking place. On the other end of the spectrum, as I mentioned, there's Berlin, where in order to move into German culture or in German intellectual culture, you had to renounce your Judaism. So Hamburg, in Warburg's mind, occupied this middle ground where you could be Jewish and still have an active role in German Jewish culture. Okay, so you probably know what's coming out. So by 1933, Hitler comes to power. Germany becomes a dictatorship, and everything crumbles overnight. The Jewish, those who could leave, left. Kassir left. He went initially to London, where he taught at Oxford. Then he moved to Sweden. And then, sensing things were getting bad in Sweden, he left and lectured at Yale and ended up then Columbia and finished out his career there. Okay, so by now, Warburg had passed away. The library is still there. Panofsky quickly arranges for all the books to be packed up, put on 2 ships. It was sent to London, where it spawned a new Warburg Institute that nourished the new generation of philosophers and art historians and so forth. And Panofsky himself left and went first to America. He taught at NYU, where the president of NYU used to say that it was like the Weimar on the Hudson. And then soon after that, NYU, the Institute of Advanced Study made him an offer, as I mentioned. He went, taught there, and he stayed there for the rest of his life. He became friends with Einstein, Pauli. For him, it was a wonderful time. He looked upon this transfer from Europe to America as a move to paradise, whereas many of the other intellectuals felt the reverse. They were giving up paradise to come here. Okay. So when one thinks of course, what was going on in Hamburg at the time, it's hard not to see parallels to America, even America now. In fact, I just discovered this on Thursday. There's a play in New York called Leopoldstadt. It's written by Tom Stoppard, who discovered that he was Jewish in the 90s. That's a whole other story. But the play is about an Austrian family that is, right in Austria, right at the time Hitler came to power, and the play asked the question, could what happened there happen here? Or in our context, we could ask, could what happened in Hamburg happen here? And to be honest, I used to dismiss this sort of talk. It'll never happen here. But now I'm wondering. In November of 2022, anti-Semitic attacks increased by 100% compared to November of 2021. And I didn't look up the statistics in 2021, but I wouldn't be surprised if 2021 exceeded by 100% the anti-Semitic attacks in 2020. The Anti-Defamation League recently published a survey. This is a tool I find shocking. About 20% of the American public, that translates to 52 million people, hold anti-Semitic views, and they believe in conspiracy theories. So, life here is certainly very comfortable, and we have a lot of freedoms, but, there are times when, I think I'm hearing sort of faint sirens. And to be honest, with Israel now distancing itself from Reform, conservative Judaism, and secular Jews, it's not clear where we need to go if those sirens should ever go off. So, Shabbat Shalom. That's all I prepared. If you have any questions, I'm happy to try to answer them. If not, I can always get my son back. Yes. Yes. Right. No, yeah, right, he was. And so I'm not, you're right, he was excommunicated from the Dutch Jewish community. And I think, so I don't know much about, I'm not a historian. I remember once going to Beth Shalom, and Rabbi Klayman gave a sermon, and he was going on how awful Spinoza was. I think even the Jewish opinion has softened over the ages. I was actually quite surprised when he said that because he doesn't know this, but he and I went to college together, and he was a philosophy major, and I found it a little surprising that a philosopher would say this. But anyway, you're right. Spinoza was excommunicated, but I think, like I said, if you would, the things have. I don't think things have changed a bit, and there's another scholar, Rebecca Goldstein. She's the wife of Steven Pinker. She's a Panofsky, also is a Spinoza expert. So, anyway, yeah. Any other? Oh. Yeah. Right. Oh. Okay. Great. Happy. Okay. Put my goodies back.
Chef Yashakoa.
We're going to be beginning the Torah reading today on page 356, beginning with chapter 7.
יעזור וגן וישיר לך חכסים בו ונאמר אמן, הכל חלכנו תנו כבוד לתורה. יעמדו בנימין בן מאיר וסוניה, וציפור שנדו בת חיים לב ודין רות. ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל בקדושתו, והייתם הדבקים ברנה עליהם חיים כולכם היום. Baruch Hu Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam. Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Hamim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah. Amen.
Amen. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe Re'eh Netaticha Elohim leParo ve'Aharon achicha yeh leNeviacha Ata tedaber et kol asher atavecha ve'Aharon achicha yedaber al Paro v'shilach et bnei Yisrael me'artzo V'ani akshe et lev paro, v'hir beiti et ototai, v'et moftai b'eretz Mitzrayim. Lo yishma alechem paro, v'natati et shadi b'Mitzrayim. V'hotzeti et tzivotai, et ami b'nei Israel me'eretz Mitzrayim bishvatim gedolim v'yad'u Mitzrayim ki ani Adonai bintotai et shadi al Mitzrayim v'hotzeti et b'nei Israel mitocham.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah amen v'chai olam nataf b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen.
For the second aliyah, for those who are relatively new to Ohev, I'll be calling up someone who was instrumental in the financial ability of Ohev Shalom to be what it is. Big marker at the time. Ya'amod zeh ben Haskell ve'edes sheni. Bill was the go-to guy, trust me.
Was. Baruch Hu es Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah
Baruch
Adonai
Baruch Shemo.
Notein HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayash Moshe v'Aharon ka'asher tzivah Adonai otam ken asu. Umoshe ben shmonim shana v'Aharon ben shalosh u'shmonim shana v'dabram el paro. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe v'el Aharon lemor yidaber alechem paro lemor tinu lachem mofet ve'amarta el Aharon kach et matcha ve'hashlech lifnei paro yehi letanin vayavel Moshe v'Aharon el paro Vayasuchen ka'asher tziva Adonai vayashlech Aharon et matehu v'lifnei paro v'lifnei avadav vayehi letanim.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah temes v'chayei olam nota b'sayenu. Baruch Atah
Baruch
Adonai
Baruch Shemo.
Notein HaTorah.
Amen. Ya'amod shel Yaakov ben Tzvi v'Tzipora Shlishi.
Continuing on page 358, verse 11.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah. Sorry about that.
ויקרא גם פרעה לחכמים ולמחשבים ויעשו גם הם ארתומי מצרים ולחתיהם כן וישליכו איש מטהו ויהיו לתנינים ויבלה מטה אהרון את מטותם ויחזק לב פרעה ולא שמע עליהם כאשר דיבר אדוני ויאמר אדוני אל משה כבד לב פרעה ואין לשלח העם.
Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam atah b'tocheinu. Baruch Atah Adonai Notein HaTorah.
Amen.
Okay, you're right.
Ya'amod Mechael ben Shemir ben Netanya Revehi.
Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah
Baruch
Adonai.
Shemo.
Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Chel paro baboker hine yotzei hamayma v'nitzavta likrato al sofat hayor v'hamate asher nefach lenachash tikach biyadecha v'amarta elav Adonai Elohei v'avarim שלחני אליך לאמור, שלח את עמי, ויעבדוני במדבר, והנה לא שמעת עד כה, כה אמר אדוני בזאת תדע, כי אני אדוני, הנה אנוכי, מכה במטה אשר בידי, על המים אשר באור ונהפכו בדם, והדגה אשר באור תמות, ובאש האור ונילאו מצרים לשתות מים מן האור.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lana Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten HaTorah. Amen.
Friends, we take this pause now for our Misha Berach, healing for mind, body, and soul of ourselves, our dear ones. And we rise at our place, or you're welcome to come to the Torah table as well. Misha Berach, Avotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah, u'yivarech v'yirapeh et. Yekoh HaCholim Mikhilatenu, Vayishlach Lachem, Refuah Shlema, Refuat HaNefesh, Refuat HaGuf, V'toch Shar Cholei Yisrael, Shabbatim Liz'ok, Refuah Karova Halavo, Ashta B'agala U'lizmahan Kariv, V'nomar, Amen. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. V'shevet achimotenu, v'kor avracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We'll be continuing on page 359, verse 19.
תעמוד חייסרה בת זבת בשעה חמישי.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai
Shmo.
noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayomer Adonai el Moshe, emor el Aharon, kach madcha, unatana yadcha al yadcha al me Mitzrayim, al neharotam, al yeorehem v'al agamehem, v'al kol makom mikveh b'mehem, v'hiyu dam, v'hayadam b'chol eretz Mitzrayim, uva'atim uviavanim, v'ya'ashu chen Moshe v'Aharon, ka'asher tziva Adonai, v'yarem b'matei, v'yach et hamayim, asher bi'or li'enei paro, li'enei avadav, v'yehafchu kol hamayim asher b'yor l'dam, v'hadaga asher b'yor meta, vayavish hayor, vayavish hayor, lo yachlu Mitzrayim lishtot, mayim min hayor, vayehi hadam b'chol eretz Mitzrayim, vaya'asu chen chortumei Mitzrayim b'latehem, vayechazek lev paro, v'lo shama alehem, Ka'asher diber Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah et emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shmo.
noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. V'chayechon yom echon u'chayecho be'Yisrael. V'gala u'b'smat karim. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabba mevarach le'olam u'lam me'amaya.
Machzir is on page 367, beginning with verse 36.
Shama b'lelia bat sheli v'ester, maftir hazak.
Baruch et Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai
Le'olam
Melech
va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah
Baruch
Adonai
Baruch Shmo.
noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayetze Moshe mein paro et ha'ir vayifros kapav el Adonai vayachadu hakolov v'habarad umatar lo nita hartzaha vayar paro ki chadal hamatar v'habarad hakolov v'yosef lachato vayishpei libo hu va'avadav vayechazah le paro Lo shilach et bnei Yisrael kasher diber Adonai biyad Moshe.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam notav b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Before we lift the Torah, a blessing from the Gabayim to all those here, online, and all those who participate. Yishaberach Avatenu Abraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah Rivka Rachel Leah, v'Yivarek et kol ele she'elu lekavod hamakom, lekvod haTorah, lekvod haShabbat, v'et kol ele sheneknesu netilah. Yizkar zeh HaKadosh Baruch Hu, yismerechem v'yatzilechem mimkol Torah v'tzucha, ומכל נגע ומחלה וישלח ברכה, והצלחה בכל מעשה ידיהם, עם כל ישראל אחיכם, ונאמר אמן.
May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless all those who ascended the beaver to honor the place of God's presence, to honor the Torah, and to honor the Shabbat, and all those who enter the synagogue for prayer. For this, may the Holy One guard them and save them from all trouble or distress, affliction, and illness. May God send blessing and success in all work of their hands, with all Israel, their brothers and sisters, and together we say, Amen.
Amen. All rise for the lifting and wrapping of the Torah. Sa'amal kechazan, karmiri bato vayeh, Ephraim v'tzarach ha'lo, Natulamid, Hamakiata, Ya'amod, Ruvain, Esther bet Abraham v'Ezo ha'Adonai.
Roll the tops together.
שלושה דברים עולם. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I will be starting on that page, and I will be reading up until verse 12 in chapter 29, and then I will read the last verse of that chapter to follow along. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar binbim tovim, v'ratza b'divreihem hane'emarim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai abocher b'Torah u'v'Moshe avdo u'v'Yisrael amo u'v'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. Ko amar Adonai Elohim v'kabsi et Beit Yisrael min ha'amim asher nafotzu vam v'nikdashti vam v'yeinei hagoyim vayashvu al admatam Asher natati li'avdi li'akov, vayashvu aleha lavetach, uvanu vatim, venatu chiramim, vayashvu lavetach, va'asoti shifatim, bechol hashatim otam, mizvivotam, v'yadeu ki ani Adonai Elohechem, b'shana ha'asirit, ba'asirit, b'shnei masar lachodesh, Hayad davar Adonai Eli lemor, Ben Adam, sim panecha al paro melech Mitzrayim, v'hinave alav v'al Mitzrayim kula, daber b'yamarta, Ko Amar Adonai Elohim, Hineni Alecha Paro Melech Mitzrayim, Hatanim Hagadol, Harovetz B'tok Yorav, Asher Amar, Li Yoriv Ani Asitini, Benatati Hachim, Bil Chayecha, V'hid Bakti, Degad Yorecha, V'kas Kesotecha, V'ha'aliticha, Mitok Yorecha, V'yet Kol Degad Yorecha, V'kas Kesotecha Tidbak, Unetashticha Hamidbara, Otecha Ve'et Kol Degat Yorecha, Al Pnei Hasadeh Tipol, Lo Teasef Ve'lo Tikavetz, Lachayat Haaretz, Ula'o Hashamayim Netaticha Liachla, Vayadeu Kol Yoshvei Mitzrayim, Ki Ani Adonai Yan Hayotam, Mishenet Panet Levet Yisrael, V'tapsham V'chavakav Terots, Uvakata lahem kol katef, Uvehisha anam alecha tishaver, V'ha'amadata lahem kol matnayim, Lachen Ko Amar Adonai Elohim, Hineni Mevi Alai Charev, V'hichrati Mimech Adam Uvehema, V'hayita Eretz Mitzrayim, Lishmama V'charba, V'yadeu ki ani Adonai Yan Amar, Ye'or li va'ani asiti, Lachen hineni elecha v'el yorecha, V'natati et eretz Mitzrayim, Lecharvot chorev shemama, Mimigdol Sivene Biad Givul Kush, lo ta'avar ba regel adam v'regel behema lo ta'avar ba v'lo teshev 40 shana. Verse 21. Vayom hahu Atzmi Keren Levet Yisrael Ulecha Etain Pitchon Peh B'tocham V'yadeu Ki Ani Adonai Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Tzur kol ha'olamim Tzadik b'kol hadorot Ha'el ha'ne'eman Ha'omer v'yoseh Ha'medaber u'mkayim Shekol devorav emet b'tzedek Ne'eman atahu Adonai Eloheinu v'ne'amanim devarecha v'davar echad midvarecha achor lo yashuv rekam ki el melech ne'eman v'rachaman ata baruch ata Adonai ha'el ha'ne'eman b'kol devarav Rachem al Tzion ki hi beit chayenu v'la'aluvat nefesh toshia bimhera biyamenu Baruch ata Adonai Mesameach Tzion bevanecha Samchenu Adonai Eloheinu b'Eliyahu hanavi avdecha Uv'malchut Beit David Meshichecha Bimhera yavo v'yagel libeinu Al kisei lo yeshev zor V'lo yinchalu od acherim et kavodo Ki b'shem kachecha nishbata lo Shelo yikben neiro li'olam va'ed Baruch ata Adonai Magen David Ahatorah v'Ahavodah v'al Hanavim v'al Yom HaShabbat hazeh Shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu Likdusha v'limnucha lichavod oletifaret Al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umevarchim otach yitbarach shimcha befi kol chai tamid leolam va'ed Baruch ata Adonai mekadesh hashabbat Baruch Tiyah, Baruch
Oh, some good Torah Haftarah reading this morning, indeed. So as Jan mentioned, and the Torah is being lifted, we all rise, and we will be reciting this morning the prayer for the new month happening at the end of this weekend. No, it's not. It'll be within the week or two. That's right. So we're on page 334 as we say the prayer for the new month. 334. Yehi ratzon milefanecha Adonai Eloheinu Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu שתחדש עלינו את החודש הזה לטובה ולברכה ותיתן לנו חיים ארוכים, חיים של שלום, חיים של טובה, חיים של ברכה
חיים של פרנסה, חיים של חילוץ הצמות, חיים שיש בהם יראת שמיים ויראת חטא, חיים שבהם בושה וכלימה, חיים של אושר וכבוד, חיים שתהי בנו אהבת תורה ויראת שמיים, חיים שימלאו משאלות ליבנו לטובה. אמן. הסלם. מי שעשה ניסים לאבותינו וגם אותם יעבדו לחירות, הוא יגאל אותנו בקרוב יקבץ זנחנו מארבע כנפות הארץ. חברים כל ישראל אמר אמן. ראש חודש שבט יהיה ביום שני, הבא עלינו ועל כל ישראל לטובה. The new month of Shabbat will begin Sunday night and Monday this coming week. יחדשהו הקדוש ברוך הוא עלינו, ויחל כל עמו בית ישראל, וכל עמו בית ישראל, לחיים ושלום, לששון ושמחה, לישועה ולנחמה, ונאמר Amen. In the new month, may the Holy One blessed be God, bless us and the whole household of Israel with life and peace, joy and gladness, deliverance and comfort. And let us all say Amen. Amen. We'll return the Torah now to the Aron Kodesh. So let's turn to page 340 for Hallelujah. יהללו את שם אדוני, כי נשגב שמו לבדו, הודו על ארץ ושמיים, וירם קרן לעמו, תהילה לכל חסידיו, לבני ישראל על קרובו. Adonai b'ne'elim, Avol Adonai kavod ba'os, Avol Adonai kavod shemo, Yishach Avol Adonai behadra kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim el hakavod hirim, Adonai hamayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai pe'atar, Kol Adonai shover arazim, Vayshaber Adonai et arzei halevanon, Vayarkiten kemoeget, Lebanon v'sihiryon, kemoven lenim, Kol Adonai osir avotei, Kol Adonai kemil mikor, Yahil Adonai mikor harolesh, Kol Adonai yodai vayechasof yadot, Uvechalot uvelo, Omer kavod, Adonai yarachu le'ash, Shalei shel Adonai very sharp eye.
I kind of think that the Torah can only be great and wonderful if all of us surrender. That's my
Beautifully, beautifully said. That's the answer we were looking for. You got to give us the answer, Jan. We're dying to know. It is, yes, it is the only tough up there. Yeah.
And you can thank Rabbi Aronson for coming up with that question. He asked me, I didn't know.
Yes, that was going to be my lending answer as well. It's a grammatical thing. It's a Torah. So I mean, yes, it's one. The tav usually does get, usually and unusually has the dagesh, the little dot that's stuck in the middle, and that kind of, depending, yeah. So yeah, it's a grammatical. Past that, I'd have to look more into it. So thank you for presenting that part. There is a tav at Gemilut, but the first tav. Maybe over the Ner Tamid. Oh, so many interesting theories here, everybody. I love it. Well, you're free to sit down if you'd like.
That's the only example.
Yes, correct.
So that's
Correct.
why.
That's what I'm saying. That's the grammatical lending. Yes. Okay, my friends. We're going to continue with Musaf. The real, complete, for real Musaf. We're going to do the Chatzi Kaddish prior to page 354. Yitzkadal v'yitzkata shemerabah v'yamati v'lachirotei v'yamlich mochutei v'chayechon v'yomechon uv'chayerecho beit Yisrael v'agalau v'zman karev v'yimaru Amen. Yehei shemerabah mevarach ve'alam ulam me'amaya יתברך וישתבח ויפאר ויתרומם וינשא וירהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמה לקודשה ברכו ואין לה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תשבחתה ונחמתה תאמירן מימיו ויאמרו Amen. We join together as we rise for the Musaf Amidah, page 357. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el HaGadol HaGibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomer Chesed Tovi v'Konei HaKol וזוכר חסדי אבו ואמהו ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם מחכה חיים וחסד מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו בשני עפר כמוך בעל כבודו, ומידו מלך מימי, ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לאחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. 358, קדושה. נעריצך ונקדישך כסוף בהקודש, המקדישים את שמך בקודש, ככתוב היה נביאך, וקרא זה ואמר, קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. כבודו מלא מלא עולם, מקום כבודו. כבודו מלא מלא עולם, מקום כבודו. כבודו מלא עולם, משרתיו שואלים זה לזה, מקום כבודו. משרתיו שואלים זה לזה, מקום כבודו. ליומתם ברוך יאמרו, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. ממקומו יפם ברחמים ויחונם, המייחדים שמו ערב בבוקר בכל יתמין, במים ביחווה שמע אומרים, שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד. הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו, והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו. שנית, 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 שנית לעיני כל החי, ויהיה לכם לאלוהים. ולפני קודשך כתוב לאמור, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהי ציון, לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גדלך, ולצח נצחים, ולצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי המלך גדול, כי המלך גדול, וקדוש אתה. לדור ודור, לדור ודור, לדור ודור נגיד גדלך, ולצח נצחים, ולצח נצחים, קדושתך נקדיש. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. Continue with Musaf Amidah from 360 till 370. תיקנת שבת ורצית קודשך תקדשך finisher in the kosher Amidah. Let's conclude the Amidah moment with page 368. Sim Shalom. Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Ba'olam Chen V'Chesed V'Rachamim V'Rachamim Aleinu Ve'Yakol Yisrael Ve'Yakol Yisrael Amecha Marcheinu Avinu Kulanu Kechad Ve'or Panecha Kiv Yor Panecha Natah Lanu Adonai Eloheinu Sim Shalom Tova Bracha Ba'olam Chen V'Chesed V'Rachamim V'Rachamim Aleinu Ve'Yakol Yisrael Ve'Yakol Yisrael Amecha. Third line. Toharat Chaim V'Yahava Chesed V'Yahava Chesed Utztaka Uvracha Rachamim V'Chaim V'Shalom Sim Shalom Tova Uvracha Ba'olam Chen V'Chesed V'Rachamim V'Rachamim Aleinu Ve'Yakol Yisrael Amecha V'tov be'einecha Levarech et Amcha Yisrael V'chol et uv'chol sha'a Bishlomecha Sim Shalom Tova Bracha Ba'olam Chen V'Chesed V'Rachamim V'Rachamim Aleinu Ve'Yakol Yisrael Amecha. Page 372, Kari Shalem. Yitkatav Yitkara Shemei Rabbah Ve'amad Yivrach Yidutem Yerecho Beit Yisrael, V'agalau V'zman Kari V'yimeru, Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah Mevarach, Ve'alam Ulam Me'amaya. Yitbarach Ve'yishtabach V'yitpar V'yitromam V'yitnaseh V'yithadar V'yit'aleh V'yit'ala Shemei L'Kodesha Barecho Le'ein Lamin Kol Birchata Ve'shirata Tushbachata V'nechemata Da'amiran Mi'amav V'yimaru Amen. Titkaber Salodcho V'uchon Decho Yisrael Kodam Avochon V'Ishmaya V'yimaru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shemaya V'chaim Aleinu V'Yakol Yisrael V'yimaru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav Oyaseh Shalom Aleinu V'Yakol Yisrael V'imru Amen. Page 400, Ein Keloheinu. Ein Keloheinu, Ein Kadonenu, Ein Kemokeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, non como nuestro Dios, non como nuestro Señor, non como nuestro Rey, non como nuestro Salvador. Mi Eloheinu, mi Adonenu, mi Kemokeinu, mi Kemoshienu, non como nuestro Dios, non como nuestro Señor, non como nuestro Rey, non como nuestro Salvador. No del Eloheinu, no del Adonenu, no del Emokeinu, no del Nemoshienu, non como nuestro Dios, non como nuestro Señor, non como nuestro Rey, non como nuestro Salvador. Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, non como nuestro Dios, non como nuestro Señor, non como nuestro Rey, non como nuestro Salvador. Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Makeinu, Atahu Moshienu, non como nuestro Dios, non como nuestro Señor, non como nuestro Rey, non como nuestro Salvador. Atahu Shehiktiru, Avotenu, Lefanecha Ektoret Hasamim, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la, la 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 la. We rise 402, Aleinu. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומונים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא, שעונות השמיים ויוסד ארץ, ומשב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושחירות זו, וגבהי מרומי. O Eloheinu, Einod, Emid Malkeinu, Efet Zulato, Kakatu, Betorato, V'yadata hayom, V'hashevota elevavecha, Ki Adonai, O Elohim, B'shamayim imad, Ve'al haaretz, mitachat einod. If it is your custom, you may be seated. We continue 404. המלכות שלה היא עולם תמלוך בכבוד, ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד, ושמו אחד. During this past week, we note with sorrow the passing of the following yahrzeits: Gladys Rosenbaum, Jacob Goldstein, Julius Davidson, Lawrence Prutkin, Simon Kyman, Yechiel Friedman, Zelda Gottesman, Lynn Rappaport, Gertrude Bundell Asher, Harriet Kolsky, Joan Doutzman, Jules Clayman, Marcus, Sylvia Fine, Bessie Kaiser, Gertrude Fine, Ida Neustadt, Joseph Fine, Marcia Moll, Rosalie Tankel, Bernice Shabro, Gilbert Levy, Joseph Hoffeld, Edith Kaufman, Carl Ballack, Charles Dotsman, Francis Kirshner, Erwin Miller, Lee Davidson, Louis Weintraub, Mordechai Adar, Rosa Katz. During these past few weeks, during the period of Shloshim, we note with sorrow the passing of David Pollock, Shirley Rosenberg, Florence Bellman, Walter Korn, Brenda Schwartz, dear sister of Sheila Howard, Maria Graciela Ceballos Ferria. Are there any other yard sites that may have been left over that we'd like to honor? For all those reciting yard site, reciting Kaddish this morning, we rise on page 410, and we recite together. Yitkadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah ve'almad yivarach erotei ve'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei techol beit Yisrael v'agala u'v'zman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach ve'alam u'lalmei almaya Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh V'yit hadar, v'yit aleh, v'yit halal, shemei kodesha b'rechu, ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbachata v'nechemata, ta'amiran me'alma v'yimru, amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, ve'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru, amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. May each of their memories be for a blessing. I can invite Eileen Shine for this morning's announcement.
Guess who? It's me again. But this time, of course, I bring you greetings for a good Shabbos from your officers and the board of directors. It never stops. We have so many wonderful things happening, starting with tomorrow morning. There is Minyan on Zoom every Sunday morning. And tomorrow morning, there's going to be a special program about mindfulness and setting intentions after the Hebrew school drop-off. But everyone is invited. And I think during these times, we can all use a little mindfulness and getting in touch with just being calm at times. And so after the Hebrew school drop-off, everyone is invited for that. Then on Tuesday, of course, there's Mahjong, and on Thursday, there's Canasta. And we just learned that Ohev is in conjunction with House of Kosher. If you shop there, when you check out, if you give them the number 1976, which is around the time when we really became a firm congregation, you will get 2% off. 2% of your purchases will go to Ohev Shalom. So you can help to donate to Ohev if you shop at House of Kosher. Yes, Ohev will get the 2%. January 30th, our Social Action Committee has worked very hard. This is one of the dates when, if you are interested in cooking a meal and dropping it off to Carol Gerson, then they will make sure that people who really need food will be able to get that. We have a lot of things coming up in the month of February that I'll just mention briefly. One of them is on Super Bowl Sunday. Super Bowl Sunday, we have the worldwide wrap. If you late fill in, or you did it one time, or you'd like to learn a little bit about it, the men's club is going to do that as well. And on February 12th, a wonderful program from Inclusion about a Jewish cantor who had a stutter, and the title of it is Sanctifying the Stutter. So that should be an interesting program for all of us. And last but not least, of course, our young people and our Vice President, Danny Shilet, is working very hard along with the rest of the Ohev players to prepare Disney's Descendants, and that is 4 days from February 16th through the 20th. Check the website to make sure that you can get your tickets ahead of time. Yasher Koach to Cantor, to all of the people who led our service, to Shep for a very interesting Devar Torah, and if I left anyone out, and to all of you for being here, and those of you at home on Zoom or live stream. So with that, I wish you all Shabbat Shalom, good Shabbos to you all.
It's always nice to go after Eileen because she covers pretty much everything. So there's not much I need to say. One thing that I did not include that I need to include for next week is the first weekend of February, February 3rd, I believe that's that Friday. That weekend is Shabbat Shirah, right? And so this year we're going to be celebrating the music of Naomi Shemer. So please join me on Friday evening for a little musical presentation on the prolific and amazing singer-songwriter that is Israel's Naomi Shemer. Yeah, pretty much you got it. So thank you to our Torah readers, to Idel Wood, to Chef Smithline, to our wonderful Haftarah reader, Eileen Shine, to all of our honorees who were given something in our service. Thank you for participating, Ivy and Alan.
I forgot one other thing. Our ritual chair this year, Eric Kleiman, normally would be here, but he is at Congregation Bethel receiving an aliyah for his mother's 100th birthday. And we want to wish her Yom Holedet Sameach and to let Eric and his family know we're thinking of them.
Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Eileen. Yes, 100, celebrated 100 years. That's amazing. Amazing. Well, happy birthday to her, indeed. Well, thank you all for being here. January can be tough sometimes, but we're happy that you're here. I'm happy that you're here, celebrating Shabbat with all of us. So let us conclude our service this morning on page 400, soon to be noon, 412. Adon olam asher malach b'teren kol yatin ivra yinasa v'chafzo kol azay melech shemo nikra adon olam v'yacharei kiklot hakol levado yimloch nara adon olam v'hu haya v'hu oveh v'hu yeh b'tifara adon olam asher malach b'teren kol yatin ivra yinasa v'chafzo kol azay melech shemo nikra adon olam v'hu echad v'yein sheni lehamshilo leachbira adon olam beli reishi beli tachli v'lo ha'oz v'ha'misra adon olam asher malach b'teren kol yatin ivra yinasa v'chafzo kol azay melech shemo nikra adon olam v'hu eli v'chai go'ali v'tzor chavli v'yetzara adon olam v'hu nisi umanos li menakosi b'yom ekra adon olam asher malach b'teren kol yatin ivra yinasa v'chafzo kol azay melech shemo nikra adon olam beyado avkid rochi beyat tishan miya'ira adon olam ve'im rochi gevi'ati Adonai li v'lo ira adon olam asher malach b'teren kol yatin ivra yinasa v'chafzo kol azay melech shemo nikra adon olam v'shamro v'nei Yisrael hashabbat la'asod et hashabbat letorotam berit olam v'shamro v'nei Yisrael hashabbat la'asod et hashabbat letorotam berit olam. leolam, oti leolam, oti leolam. Veshamro bnei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לתורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת את תורת ברית עולם. על כן ברך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו, ספרי חברי. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, בורא פרי הגפן. לחיים.
So